It was a dark and stormy night, and the wind outside howled against the old, creaky house on the outskirts of town. Inside, a group of friends had gathered to spend the night telling ghost stories and trying to scare each other. As the night wore on and the storm outside raged, the friends grew ever more uneasy. They began to sense a presence in the house, a dark, malevolent force that seemed to be watching them from the shadows. One of the friends, a young lady named Emily, was particularly sensitive to the presence. She could feel it creeping closer and closer to her, filling her with a sense of dread and fear. Can you guys feel that? Emily asked, her voice shaking. There's something in this house. The other friends looked at each other nervously, but they tried to brush off Emily's fear. "Come on, Emily," said one of the friends, a man named Jason. "There's nothing here but us and a few old ghosts. You're just letting your imagination get the better of you." But Emily could feel the presence growing stronger and more malevolent with each passing moment. She could sense its dark, ancient power, and she knew it was not a friendly ghost. "Jason, I'm serious," Emily said, her voice now quivering with fear. There's something evil in this house. We need to get out of here before it's too late." But the friends laughed at her, teased her for being scared. They refused to take her seriously and continued to tell ghost stories and try to frighten each other. As the night went on, the storm outside grew even more fierce, and the wind howled like a banshee. The house creaked and groaned under the strain, and Emily could feel the presence growing stronger and more malevolent. Finally, when the storm was at its worst, the friends heard a loud crash from upstairs. They all jumped to their feet, terrified, and ran to the staircase to see what had happened. As they reached the top of the stairs, they were met with a terrifying sight. A dark, shadowy figure stood in the hallway, its eyes glowing with malevolent intent. The friends screamed in terror and ran back downstairs, but the shadowy figure followed them, its footsteps heavy and menacing. It seemed to be gaining on them, and Emily could feel its dark power closing in on her. "Please, no!" Emily cried, her voice now shaking with fear. "Leave us alone!" But the shadowy figure did not listen. It continued to chase them, its eyes glowing with an unearthly light. It was getting closer and closer, and Emily could feel its dark power suffocating her. Just when it seemed that the shadowy figure was about to catch them, a loud clap of thunder shook the house, and the lights went out. The friends were plunged into darkness, and they could hear the shadowy figure moving closer and closer. "Please, no!" Emily cried out again, her voice now trembling with fear. "Don't hurt us!" But the shadowy figure did not listen. It reached out with its dark, shadowy hands and grabbed Emily, pulling her into the darkness. The other friends could hear her screams as the shadowy figure dragged her away, and they could feel its dark power growing stronger and more malevolent with each passing moment. "Thank you for that," the shadowy figure hissed in a voice that was both ancient and malevolent. "Your fear feeds me." As the friends searched for Emily, they could hear her screams echoing through the house. They knew they had to find her before it was too late, and the storm outside made it nearly impossible to see anything. The wind howled and the rain poured against the windows, making it difficult to hear anything over the noise. The friends stumbled around in the darkness, calling Emily's name and trying to find her. But the shadowy figure was always one step ahead of them. It seemed to know every nook and cranny of the old house, and it used the darkness to its advantage. It moved through the shadows, always staying just outside of reach, taunting the friends with Emily's screams. As they searched, the friends realized that the old house was not as it seemed. It was filled with hidden passageways and secret rooms, and it seemed to be alive with a dark and malevolent power. They could feel it all around them, suffocating them with its ancient evil. Finally, after what felt like hours, the friends stumbled upon a hidden door in the basement. They pushed it open and rushed inside, only to find Emily lie on the floor, her eyes closed and her body limp. The shadowy figure was standing over her, its eyes glowing with dark triumph. It hissed at the friends, baring its teeth with a grotesque smile. "Thank you for bringing her to me," the shadowy figure said, its voice cold and cruel. "Your fear has given me the strength I need to escape this prison and reclaim my power, and now I will feast on your souls and grow even stronger." The friends were terrified, but they knew they had to do something. They gathered their courage and launched themselves at the shadowy figure, fighting with all their might to save Emily and themselves. The battle was fierce and intense, and the friends fought with everything they had. But the shadowy figure was too powerful, and it seemed to be immune to their attacks. It laughed at their efforts, taunting them with its dark power. Just when it seemed that all was lost, a bolt of lightning struck the house, and the friends were momentarily blinded. In that moment of confusion, they were able to grab Emily and make a run for the door. They raced outside of the house and into the storm, their hearts pounding with fear. They didn't stop running until they reached the safety of their cars, and they vowed never to return to that cursed place again. As they drove away, they could hear the shadowy figure's laughter echoing behind them, a mocking reminder of the evil they had faced that night. They knew they had narrowly escaped with their lives, and they thanked their lucky stars that they survived the encounter. But even as they put distance between themselves and that old house, they could feel that shadowy figure's malevolent power following them, haunting them for the rest of their days. They knew they had not seen the last of that dark, ancient evil that lurked within the walls of that cursed place.